So hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to solve a very amazing problem. It is both relevant for JEE Advanced and Olympiad. The first method that I will be using here will be relevant for JEE Advanced, and the second method I will be using here is completely for Olympiad, pure Olympiad material. Okay, so our first focus will be to discover about method 1. Okay, so here in method 1, first let us consider the question. The title of the problem is rotating capacitor and Poynting's vector. So this is the second part of the video and it is completely for Olympiad and not for JEE. But the first part of the video will be relevant to JEE. So here rotating capacitor, what is the meaning of rotating capacitor? A capacitor, uh, here you can just take it as a torsion. Here it can rotate about the as a whole, as a system, means this cylinder and this cylinder we have to consider. Both of the cylinders can move with the similar omega about the axis. Okay, uh, so here we can say that, here the question says that a cylindrical capacitor. Okay, so what we got here is a cylindrical capacitor with outer radius capital R and inner radius R minus D, where D is very less than R. Okay, so the thickness is given. The thickness of the capacitor is D. So it has a length L and mass M and hangs on an insulating cord in a region where there is an homogeneous vertical magnetic field of strength B. So here there is an external magnetic field. Here by mistake I have written B naught, you just consider it to be B. Okay, so it can freely rotate as a whole around its vertical axis, but it is constrained so that it can't move horizontally. The capacitor is charged and there is a potential difference V between these two faces of the uh, capacitor, or between the two cylinders there is a potential difference of V. So what will happen, we have to identify, or we have to just investigate what will happen if without being mechanically disturbed the capacitor is discharged through a internal wire and suddenly the magnetic field is switched off. In both the cases we have to discover that what will happen in each case. So let us see what will happen. So when we just calculate the capacitance of the system, we can easily say that the capacitance is same as for the parallel plate capacitor, since we have been given this condition D will be very less than R. So this is what this is the area of the plate. This is the area of the plate and D is the separation between the two plates. Now here charge can be written as 2 pi epsilon naught VRL by D. Now let us see the top view. What is this? This is the top view of the system. Okay, so we are seeing the top view of the system. Now here, after seeing the top view, we can just interpret that there is a magnetic field which is pointing inside the plane. From the top we are seeing the system, and then a charge plus Q and a charge minus Q on the inner cylinder. R minus D is the radius of the inner cylinder, where D is very less than R, so we can just consider it to be a ring of radius R. Okay, or annulus of radius R. Equivalent system, here I have drawn the equivalent system of this. Okay, so here what is there, there is a wire that is connecting, there is a small wire that is connecting the outer cylinder and the inner cylinder. We will see why this wire is here. So the first part said that without mechanically disturbing the two parts of the cylinder are connected. So we have to see what will happen. So since here the wire will be connected, there will be a time varying current I as a function of time, and then on this time varying current on this wire there will be the Lorentz force. Lorentz force, that is current is like this I, field is inward, using the right hand rule. If you can use do practical, so here F vector will be like that, and here it will give a torque about the center of mass like that. So here the system will rotate with alpha. So here I have written alpha. Now torque can be easily written as IBD. D is what? The length of the wire. The length of the wire is equal to the thickness of the ring. So here it can be written as IBD cross R, and this can be written as ICM alpha. Now what is ICM? ICM will be for the cylinder, that can be written as mr square d omega by dt, and this can be written as this IBDR. Now here d omega by dt and dq by dt, we just do that, and when we just cancel out the dt, we get mr square d omega is brd dq. Now we just integrate it from 0 to delta omega and 0 to delta q. We get, now what is this? This is the charge transfer between the plates. So here it is the outer plate and here is the inner plate. Here the charge transfer between them can be written as delta q, and the change in and the corresponding change in angular velocity due to the change in charge can be written as delta omega. Now here omega max can be written as, either you can use sigma or either you can use integration direct. By both methods you can do it. So here I get final expression as bdq by mr. Now this can be written as, now q can be written from here. We will take q from here and this can be written as 2 pi epsilon naught bvl by m. Now we find the value of omega, that is the cylinder will start rotating about its axis with an omega, and the maximum value of that omega can reach 2 pi epsilon naught bvl by r. Now let us see the second part of the problem. Now the second part says that what will happen if the magnetic field is switched off. So if the magnetic field is switched off suddenly, here magnetic field will be the function of time. Why this? Because earlier at t equal to 0 it was existing, and at some t equal to t it just disappeared. So here we will consider the two cylinders. Again we are seeing the top view, but here we are seeing them as a closed loop. Here we will see them as a closed loop. Okay, so here we will see them as a closed loop, and I will just write that suddenly switching off the magnetic field will induce an electric field which will be perpendicular to the dl segment of the loop. And now ep, closed integral ep dl can be written as d phi by dt, that can be written as minus a t by d. So here this whole loop can be extended to form a rectangle, that can be written as 2 pi r d into dv by dt. Now here dv by dt is the rate of change of magnetic field, so we will not do anything with this term. Now here if I write the small amount of charge q on this small circular loop dq can be written as q dl by 2 pi r. Now here if I write it as q dl by 2 pi r, here df can be written as dq ep. Now a small amount of force on this small charge, that is dq, the small charge is here, and now we write the force on it. Now force will give a torque like this alpha. Now df is dq ep. Now d tau can be written as dq epr, and the total torque that will be acting on the loop, on this loop, we will consider the two cylinders as a loop. I already said that please consider the two cylinders as a loop. The direction of circulation is also given in the figure. Okay, now someone will think that there are two concentric loops, so one will give a positive effect and one will give the negative effect. Since the width is very less, we will just consider it to be a ring. Okay, so only one effect we will take, the torque of only one side we will take. Okay, the outer cylinder. Okay, we will consider only the outer cylinder. Now here if I just take the closed integral, I will be resulting in this situation, and here d tau can be written as closed integral ep dot dl q by 2 pi. Now here q by 2 pi ep dot dl. Now here ep dot dl can be taken from here, and when I just put that here, I will get after integrating delta omega as minus qd by mr delta b. So omega max can be written as integral of omega, and from magnetic field is changing from b to 0, so here it can be written as bqd by mr, and that could be written as 2 pi epsilon naught vbl by m. Now it is very astonishing to see that in both the cases the formula is coming same, or the maximum value of omega is coming same. Now the JE part ends here, and we jump into the Olympiad part. Now some extra points about this system. What are the extra points? The cylindrical capacitor will behave as an open system. Okay, if we just see the cylindrical capacitor, it will behave as an open system. But if I see the cylindrical capacitor and the electromagnetic field, the EM field, it will behave as a closed system. Okay, so if I not just see the cylindrical capacitor alone, which will behave as an open system, I will see both the capacitor and the electromagnetic field, then they will behave as a closed system. Now we know that for a closed system, the energy, momentum, angular momentum is always conserved. So here we'll get smeared out energy throughout whole space. See, this is an electromagnetic field in some space around the capacitor. Now here if I see, here we can say that is smeared out energy or the smeared out momentum or hidden momentum, smeared out angular momentum. What? Smeared out angular momentum? Yes. Angular momentum is also smeared out in space, just like energy. B square by 2 mu naught half epsilon naught E square, we will just get that. So here how we can just write that angular momentum? We can just write that by using Poynting's vector. What is Poynting's vector? S can be written as 1 by mu naught, that is the permeability of free space, into E cross B. E cross B. So what is this? This is the expression of density of energy flow, and it is just like intensity. So what is this? This is the energy that is passing through a area in a unit time. Okay. So here if S by C is written, that is if the energy vector, the density flow is divided by the speed of light, we get the linear momentum flow density, and we all know that mv cross r is the angular momentum. So the angular momentum flow density can be written as the linear momentum flow density cross the position. Okay, so S by C cross r can be written as the linear momentum density. Here I would write it as LD. Okay, so this will give us the angular momentum density. Now how we use that in our problem? Since there is a highly symmetrical problem, cylindrical symmetry is present, we can easily use this. So first of all I would find the direction of E cross B. You can find it, E is like that and B is somewhat like that, and when you use the right hand rule you will get the direction of E cross B, which is tangential. Now then you find R cross E cross B, which will give us the direction of the angular momentum flow density that will become parallel to the walls. Okay, now the situation will somewhat like that, angular momentum flow density. Now we will just multiply, this can be written as J dA by T. Now here this can be written as S by C R, and S is already EVR by mu naught C. Now here J can be written as area 2 pi RD. The area of this is 2 pi RD, here it is written, and the total time that it will take is L by C, because since it is traveling with the speed of light, energy is traveling with the speed of light, so the total time it will take to cover the path will be L by C. Putting all the things together we will get the energy density flow. Now here this you should be familiar with this, that the speed of light is nothing but the 1 by root of the permeability of free space and the permittivity of free space. Okay, now next is the final conclusion of the problem. So we just come to the problem. The total angular momentum that is passing is 2 pi EVR square LD epsilon naught, and since using EV by D we will get this result, and finally when we just divide it by MR square we will get the value of omega maximum. I hope you all like the solution. Please like the video.